Sarah ignored my warnings, determined to make homemade sanitary pads to earn money. After her self-experimentation, her intimate area became unbearably itchy. I painfully advised her that homemade pads didn't meet hygiene standards and could easily cause problems. Sarah, however, believed I was hindering her business opportunity and refused to stop. She even freely contacted many people to try them for free, resulting in victims suffering from intimate area lesions. The enraged victims came to our house, armed with knives. Sarah pointed at me, declaring loudly, "I already told you those homemade pads weren't safe. You're clearly blinded by greed, daring to earn such unethical money." My own relative's accusation made the victims believe I was the mastermind. "You immoral, deceitful merchant, go to hell." I had no way to justify myself and was hacked to death in the chaos. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the moment Sarah first began experimenting with sanitary pads. "Lily, quickly go talk to your sister-in-law. These crude materials will eventually kill people. Say something." A jolt from my side brought me out of my daze. I was stunned to realize I had been reborn. In my previous life, news reports exposed countless substandard sanitary pads, causing widespread public panic and uncertainty about which brands to trust. Sarah, after seeing this, her eyes lit up, convinced it was a lucrative business opportunity. At dinner, she excitedly announced, "I'm staying home now to prepare for pregnancy, so it's the perfect time to research and develop sanitary pads. When I have a child later, they'll be a genuine second-generation rich kid." Back then, I advised her that even large factories and well-known brands were failing to meet standards, so homemade products would definitely be unsafe. She glared at me, searching for suitable materials online. "It's a waste that you read so many books. If you're always so timid and fearful, how will you ever achieve anything great? When I make money, don't you dare shamelessly cling to me." I tried to say more, but she waved a broom at me, calling me an obstruction and chasing me away. After that, she enthusiastically bought several large foam boxes online, stacking them in my room, leaving only a narrow path. She even wrapped the foam in fabric to create a respectable-looking pad, then brought it to me and demanded I try it. I opened my phone and showed her various educational videos. She then broke down in tears, smashing plates and chopsticks. "You look down on me. You see me staying home, preparing for pregnancy, unable to earn money. I won't have this baby. I want to go out and work." My mother, trying to appease Sarah and ensure she'd bear an heir for the Song family, hit me over the head with a bowl with a loud smack, yelling furiously, "If you don't want this family to prosper, then get out." Then, she gently comforted Sarah, constantly promising to help her with the experiment. It wasn't until both of them experienced intimate itching that my mother became scared and pressured me to talk to Sarah. Sarah remained defiant. "If you don't want to use them, I won't even give them to you. The materials are expensive, you know. My kindness is not appreciated." Seeing her agitated, my mother quickly pulled me back, preventing me from saying more. Still feeling a bit uneasy, I took my mother's test report to Sarah, warning her that if she didn't stop, she would develop lesions. Sarah's face turned cold. "What are you trying to do? How dare you curse your own family members? I think all those books you read went into a pig's head. Clearly, that shady hospital just wants to extract money." I fell silent, saying nothing more, and secretly told my mother to apply medicine on time. Unexpectedly, when Sarah saw our lack of cooperation, she turned around and distributed her homemade pads to poor female factory workers, boasting that they were even better than branded ones. It wasn't long before the workers experienced problems. Medical examinations confirmed the pathogens came from Sarah's homemade pads. The workers waited for several days at the spot where Sarah had distributed the pads, finally catching her and following her home. They pounded furiously on our door. Sarah, still inside her room, fanned the flames, believing the workers were fabricating stories and trying to extort money. It wasn't until the workers became enraged, kicked down the door, and began hacking at it with knives that Sarah, fearing they would break in, pitifully opened the door. With a thud, she knelt down and kowtowed to the workers. "I'm so sorry, sisters. I tried to warn my sister-in-law, but she was so stubborn." She said workers' lives are cheap, and even if something happened, a few hundred yuan in compensation would settle it. She even threatened me to take the blame for her. I truly had no choice. Sarah mumbled, shifting all the blame. I was catching up on sleep in my room, awakened from my dream by the pounding on the door. A worker grabbed me by the collar and dragged me to the living room, forcing me to kneel and apologize, shoving Sarah's substandard products onto me. I panicked and tried to explain. I didn't do it. Sarah, however, called me a good actress, pretending to be pitiful. In the end, I died tragically under the workers' knives. Sarah voluntarily called the police, contacted reporters, and along with my mother and brother, stood before the cameras, crying and recounting how I had tried to earn unethical money. They displayed the poor quality materials Sarah had bought before the cameras, proclaiming bravely that they would never earn dishonest money like me. In an instant, the internet was filled with curses directed at me. My grave couldn't even rest in peace. Sarah, disguised as a righteous person, sold shoddy goods and made a fortune. My mother and brother worshipped her like an empress, even saying that without me, that curse, referring to Lily, was nothing but trouble. This time, I will not get involved in these troubles. I want to see if Sarah can truly get rich relying on these shoddy goods. Sarah, right now, was occasionally scratching herself below while rolling her eyes. Mom, what nonsense are you talking about? Old people really do lose their minds as they age. Lily, you tell Mom, how can any sanitary pad on the market be as good as the one I make? Sarah's mouth continued to spew saliva. I suppressed the hatred in my heart, feigning innocence. I haven't researched sanitary pads. You know I'm tough, any kind works for me, I can't say. Sarah didn't get the answer she wanted, glared at me, and muttered, "What's the point of going to university? Your brain isn't even as good as mine." I rolled my eyes, then changed the subject. "But I think yours, sister-in-law, is very absorbent. Many on the market do leak, that's true." Sarah's face immediately lit up. She tossed me a pack of her homemade pads. "Only Lily knows how to talk properly. Don't say I'm stingy, I'm giving you a pack of good stuff." My mother gave me a reproachful look, winking to signal me to smile. She had originally wanted me to persuade Sarah, but I had made Sarah happy instead. I pretended not to see her eyes twitching, giggling as I thanked Sarah. My mother took a deep breath, gathering her courage to ask, "Sarah, didn't you say it felt a little itchy? I can't use it anymore." I knew perfectly well that my mother wasn't truly concerned about Sarah. After all, in my previous life, she had secretly told me she was worried Sarah would actually damage her body and be unable to bear an heir for the Song family. Sarah looked thoughtfully at the sanitary pad on the table. I scrolled through short videos beside her, and my phone began to play a clip. A woman was allergic to sanitary pads, suffering from unbearable itching in her intimate area. Sarah suddenly stood up, snatched my phone, her eyes gleaming. "I told you my pads were fine. It turns out it's just due to individual body types. It seems testing can't be done by just one person. It's too prone to data deviation." I wanted to laugh. Sarah was usually a frivolous person who didn't care about anything, but unexpectedly, she was so serious about these crooked schemes, even knowing about data deviation. Sarah looked up, pointing at my mother, who was trying to sneak out the door. "Mom, you test it with me. There's strength in numbers." My mother waved her hands in fear, pointing at me in panic. "Lily, I'm old. I went through menopause ages ago. How can I test this?" I pretended not to see my mother's pleading eyes and said hesitantly, "My company is very busy lately. I also want to save my bonus to buy a gold necklace for my future nephew. I could try, or perhaps I could take some leave." Sarah's eyes immediately lit up when she heard me mention buying a gold necklace for my nephew. No need. You just focus on your work. Mom and I are enough. A researcher like you is precious. How can you waste your time on such a small matter? Mom, I'll teach you how to use it. I'm telling you, this product of mine is quite something." With that, she ignored my mother's terrified expression and dragged her into the room. I put on my headphones, ignoring the shouts from inside. In my previous life, my mother often said one thing to my face and another behind my back. In front of me, she would complain about Sarah being wasteful and spending too much money. I would just agree with a few casual remarks. But when she talked about Sarah to others, she would put the blame on me, saying things like, "She said she's never seen a family marry a wife who's so destructive. Maybe they should get a divorce." This made Sarah resent me. Whenever she saw me, she'd make sarcastic remarks and sow discord in front of my brother. When Sarah was researching sanitary pads, my mother also urged me to talk to her, saying I read a lot of books and knew a lot, so Sarah would definitely listen. But when Sarah cursed at me, my mother would appease Sarah and even forced me to steal my own salary card to buy Sarah a bunch of luxury goods, joining Sarah in cursing me. If I had known that educating you to go to university would turn you into such an ungrateful, unprincipled child, I should have drowned you in the toilet. Even after I was murdered, my own mother didn't think of seeking justice for me, but instead, along with Sarah, profited from my demise. Who would want a family like this? Mother, you just wait and bear this suffering with Sarah. Sarah not only personally watched my mother use the pads, but also checked every 3 to 5 days to ensure she was still using them, meticulously recording the changing times and usage feelings, which made my mother blush with embarrassment. Less than a week later, my mother secretly sought me out. Her face showed she wanted to speak but hesitated. I impatiently waved my hand. "Mom, I'm busy. What is it?" She stammered, her face flushed. This and that for a long time. I understood in my heart that she must be uncomfortable too. I kept silent, not initiating the conversation, and used being busy as an excuse, intending to send her out of the room. She couldn't hold back any more and whispered, "Lily, I'm uncomfortable." I pretended not to hear. What is it, Mom? Why are you speaking so softly?" After a few such exchanges, she was so frustrated her voice rose several tones. "I said my downstairs is itchy." Only then did I look at her reproachfully. "Why didn't you say so earlier, Mom?" She was speechless because of me, and after a long time, she finally asked me to think of a solution. "Lily, you're a university student, you read a lot, you talk nicely to your sister-in-law, she will definitely listen to you. I dare not use this thing anymore." I looked at the figure pacing on the balcony, pretending to think, then advised, "Mom, if you have any feedback, you must tell Sarah. That way she can improve and fix the problem, right? If you don't say anything, how can she improve? Did you secretly take it off?" My mother nodded unnaturally. Sarah on the balcony rushed over like an arrow, slapping my mother's shoulder so hard she stumbled. "How dare you? This morning I asked you, and you said you were using it. Are you trying to fool me? You old hag, if you affect my experiment, I'll kick you out of this house. If your brain is useless, at least cooperate. It serves you right for being poor." My mother dared not say anything, quickly grabbing a pad to put on. I watched, wanting to laugh. Sarah truly ruled the roost in our house. The reason was none other than her family's wealth. My brother was like a live-in son-in-law. My brother's job was also found by Sarah's family. If Sarah was unhappy, my brother would lose his job, and she could actually kick our whole family out. I didn't care. I had secretly bought a house, but my mother dared not. She could only swallow her bitterness. As soon as Sarah went out to buy things, my mother twisted my arm, making me cry out in pain. Her face was fierce. "You damn wretch, are you doing this on purpose? I worked so hard to raise you and send you to school. How dare you be such an ungrateful wolf?" My fists clenched hearing this. I really wanted to punch her to shut her up. All the money for my education was earned by me working while studying. But she told everyone how hard she worked to send me to school, conveniently forgetting how she once stole the tuition money I had painstakingly saved just to travel. I smiled, a smile that wasn't a smile. "Mom, if you're so unhappy, why didn't you tell Sarah directly earlier? You tell me, don't I love you? If we displease Sarah, what if she tells people to make things difficult for your brother at work? Just endure a little and it'll pass. Don't you think that's reasonable?" My mother finally let go of my arm, turned around, and scratched herself downstairs. My mother cherished my brother the most, boasting more than once that he found a good wife, that our family didn't have to worry about cars or houses, and he had a good job. How could she bear to offend the family's money tree, or let my brother suffer injustice because of this? I turned and went into my room to pack my luggage, yelling to my mother, "Mom, my research institute has an experiment soon. I have to stay there for a few days." My mother, hearing this, rushed over in a panic, snatching my bag and holding it tightly, her face full of suspicion. "If you leave, what if something really happens to me? Who will take me to the hospital then?" I laughed softly, gently removing her hands and taking back my bag. "Sarah isn't an unreasonable person, Mom. You have to trust her. Besides, isn't there still my brother? How could he bear to let you suffer? Even if something really happens, just one call and I'll be right back." My mother's expression wavered slightly, still a bit hesitant, blocking the door. I looked left and right, confirming Sarah hadn't returned, then whispered into my mother's ear, "This time, I'll also meet many manufacturers. I'll ask around to see if there are any opportunities in this field. If we can get ahead of Sarah and make money, won't this house belong to us, just like you said? At that time, would she dare to be arrogant with you? She'd be too busy flattering you." Hearing these words, my mother's face immediately lit up. Her heart stirred, and she helped me pack my clothes, even specifically calling a car to take me to the bus station. If there was anything my mother was dissatisfied with in life, it was not having a submissive daughter-in-law she could order around. If she could make Sarah obedient, that was something she'd laugh about loudly even in her dreams. I got off the car at the hotel, opened the surveillance camera I had installed at home earlier, and excitedly prepared to watch the show. On camera, my mother kept pacing restlessly. Not long after, I saw her go out and return with a pile of medicine and a report. When Sarah came home, my mother painstakingly showed it to her. "Look, the doctor said if you keep using them, you'll develop lesions. I'm doing this for your own good, can we please stop?" Sarah's hand holding the report trembled slightly, her expression changing continuously, a hint of hesitation. "Mom, which shady hospital did you get this fake report from? Do you think that just because I'm not working at home, you can oppress me and make me inferior to Tom? I'm telling you, that's not going to happen." With that, she tore the report to shreds and threw my mother's medicine on the ground, stomping on it several times. My mother slumped on the sofa, stunned, not daring to say anything. Sarah then gave a cold huff and watched TV. Not long after, I noticed Sarah also sitting awkwardly on the sofa, her expression unnatural, her walk a bit peculiar, occasionally spreading her legs. Clearly, Sarah's condition was also worsening. According to the timeline of my previous life, she would soon become unbearably itchy. As if to confirm my words, no matter what Sarah was doing next, I could see her constantly reaching down. My mother was the same. She hadn't used the pads as long as Sarah, so her scratching frequency was slightly lower. Poor physical health quickly eroded Sarah's already low patience. Everything my mother did at home irritated her. She began to find every possible way to pick a fight and vent her anger. My mother was bent over wiping the floor. Sarah was cracking melon seeds and spitting the shells onto the ground. My mother had just finished wiping the table. Sarah took off her shoes and put her feet up, ignoring the fruit and clothes my mother had just brought in beside her. Her hand trembled, and she spilled milk tea all over them. This time, my mother completely collapsed. She raised the clothes rack, intending to hit Sarah. "I'll beat you to death, you jinx. What kind of wife just sits around like a queen all day, making her old mother-in-law serve her? Don't you know you'll shorten your lifespan? The song family marrying you, you bitter woman, was truly bad luck for 8 generations. I'll tell Tom to divorce you." Sarah pushed the clothes rack away, with such force that she pushed my mother to the ground, then tossed her hair, a mocking expression on her face. "Go ahead, I'd like to see if Tom dares to divorce me. He can just wait to be blacklisted in his industry. Without me, all of you can go eat the northwest wind." Hearing this, my mother rolled on the ground, crying to heaven and earth, wailing about the family's misfortune. I rolled around in bed, laughing. Villains need other villains to deal with them. Unexpectedly, Sarah gave a cold laugh, opened the door, and shouted, "Look at this. This old hag of the song family is using her age to bully her daughter-in-law. People need faces, trees need bark, but I've never seen anyone thicker skinned than a city wall. Today, let me open your eyes." The nosy neighbors all gathered, craning their necks into the doorway to watch my mother crawl up from the ground, her face red, as she slammed the door shut. "Are you all too idle? If you have nothing to do, go find something to do. Don't be like stray dogs, running after other people's houses every day." My mother glared at Sarah, then pulled out her phone to call for help. Sure enough, a second later, my phone rang. "Lily, come back quickly. That woman is torturing me to death. I can't take it anymore. Come back and take me to the hospital for more medicine." On camera, Sarah, unable to contain her anger, snatched the phone and threw it to the ground. "You old hag, I give you good things, but you don't have the good fortune to enjoy them, and now you blame me." My mother saw Sarah was truly enraged, and she became scared again. She mumbled, "I'm just worried about you too. If something really happens, a checkup will put our minds at ease. At most, we'll just get some anti-itch medicine." I stroked my chin. If I just let them go to the hospital and the doctor says one word, it's over, right? How would I get to watch the drama unfold then? Thinking of this, I also began to interject. "That's right, Sarah. Why don't you go get it checked out? It's not a big deal, just drop your pants for the doctor to see. Both of you remember to bring the experimental pads for the doctor to examine so they can prescribe the right medicine." Sarah, who was already wavering, immediately changed her mind when she heard, "Drop your pants." "No, no one but Tom is allowed to see me. I belong only to Tom. Besides, what if my great invention is taken outside and stolen? I haven't even applied for a patent yet." Sarah grew more excited as she spoke. You people truly don't know anything but pretend to. I've already contacted the famous Bluebird factory. They said it's probably a material issue, and they'll pay to test it for me for free. I told you I could make money. Otherwise, why would they pay to test it for me? Soon, I'll have developed my own sponge sanitary pads. If you don't treat me well, it'll be too late. My mother immediately gathered around, massaging Sarah's shoulders and legs. I knew you were capable, Sarah. When it succeeds, I'll tell Lily to buy you branded cosmetics. Having such a clever and talented daughter-in-law, it truly means our Song family ancestors are smoking with pride in their graves. My heart, however, sank. I suddenly remembered the scene of my death in my previous life. The angry, grieving faces of the female workers still flickered before my eyes. One quote deeply impressed me. All my life, I could only use unwrapped sanitary pads, carefully protecting myself, yet you still ruined me. Now I have no money for treatment. You can go to hell with me. Although most families' living conditions are quite good now, there are still many families struggling with difficult circumstances. In an era of rising prices, even monthly necessities like sanitary pads become a luxury. Their strong emotions were largely due to the injustice of society and the silent suffering of being unable to afford treatment. The Bluebird factory Sarah just mentioned was a notorious black market factory in the industry. It attracted customers with low prices, but often cut corners on raw materials during production. I couldn't wait any longer. I found many posts exposing the Bluebird factory, contacted journalist friends, and intensified the exposure of the matter. Soon, the Bluebird factory issued an announcement declaring a halt to operations and cooperation with the investigation. My journalist friend sent me a message. I went to collect evidence. I think I saw your sister-in-law. He sent me a video. In the video, Sarah was blocking the main gate of the Bluebird factory, preventing the Market Supervision Bureau from entering. Why are you arbitrarily stopping people's operations? If you delay the production of my goods, can you afford to compensate me? I've been inside and seen it. This factory is very clean. You're slandering them. What kind of supervisors are you? Are your eyes blind? Go spend money and get glasses. The staff looked serious. Ma'am, we are investigating based on a complaint. If there are no issues, operations will resume, but if there are problems, we will take even you in. A hint of fear flashed across Sarah's face. The staff took the opportunity to enter, extracting samples currently being produced in the factory, including Sarah's sponge sanitary pads. Seeing this, Sarah panicked and rushed forward, trying to snatch them back. Are you scammers? Were you sent by my competitors to steal secrets? You can't take them. I'm applying for a patent. What you're doing is stealing. I'll call the police to arrest you. I advise you to know your place and leave immediately. If you get arrested, I won't sign a waiver. In the end, the police were indeed called, but by the staff. I looked at Sarah, held between two officers, still struggling, and found it amusing. I heard that when my brother went to the police station to bail her out, his face was as dark as a pot. After enjoying this drama, I had a good night's sleep, only to be awakened by my phone vibrating frantically with an unusual camera notification. On camera, delivery workers were carrying large cardboard boxes in and out, filling the living room. My mother stood beside them, her mouth agape. Daughter-in-law, what are all these things? Are you crazy? Why are you bringing these foul-smelling things home? Sarah impatiently raised a fruit box in her hand, threatening my mother. You're so annoying. These are all my treasures. They can earn millions. My mother's eyes twinkled, trying to open a box. Sarah nudged her with her hip, pushing her aside. I'll open your eyes so you won't bother people every 2 or 3 days. I was also curious what tricks Sarah would pull after her factory failure. To my anticipation, Sarah slowly tore the tape on the box, carefully taking out a glass jar. The red liquid inside swayed with the movement of her hand. My mother walked around the jar, observing it closely, then frowned, leaning in to sniff. Her face changed dramatically, and she recoiled a few steps, pointing at Sarah and shouting in despair, "Where did you get this thing? Are you committing a sin? Bringing menstrual blood home? Do you still want to live in this house?" Sarah, however, paid no attention, admiring her treasure, her face written with 2 words, excitement. That rotten factory dared to trick my money, huh? Don't think I can't do anything without them. Let me tell you, you're also useless, old, ugly, and your blood volume is so little. This treasure I bought at a high price is much better. I'm about to get rich. My mother was so frightened by Sarah's crazed appearance that she fell to the ground with a thud, then scrambled up to dial her phone. Tom, come home quickly and control your wife. She's about to destroy this house. Seeing my mother's actions, my brother still paid no attention, not intending to come home. I quickly opened my brother's WeChat and added fuel to the fire. "Brother, come home quickly. Mom is about to be forced to death." This time, not long after, my brother, Tom, appeared on camera. Working overtime all night had made him extremely tired, his face only showing impatience. "I'm working myself to death. Can't you two leave me alone for a bit?" My mother sat on the ground, throwing a tantrum, beginning to cry and recount how Sarah had treated her. Tom sat on the sofa, smoking, the room filled with smoke. After listening, he completely exploded, smashing the ashtray. "Can't you just stay home and prepare for pregnancy? I supported you when you said you wanted to start a business, but why are you bringing these filthy things home? Mom is old, do you have to force her to death to be satisfied? When will you learn to take care of the family and do housework?" My sister-in-law was displeased by this. She yelled, rushing over and slapping Tom. "Oh, Tom, did you marry a wife or a nanny? In the beginning, you were the one who said that I would be the same after marriage as I was before, and that's why I agreed to your proposal. Are you going back on your word now?" Sarah pointed at my brother, forcing him to choose between his wife and his mother. My mother cried pitifully beside them. My brother sighed, walked towards my mother, and helped her up. I thought the drama was coming to an end. Unexpectedly, Sarah's actions escalated the play to a climax. She gritted her teeth, raised the glass jar, and threw it at my brother. Red blood immediately splattered everywhere. My mother screamed, rushing to fight Sarah. The entire scene was chaotic. Finally, my brother angrily slammed his room door shut, which brought them back to their senses. Sarah twisted her body and started calling me, crying miserably. "Lily, your brother and mother are ganging up and bullying me. Talk to your boss for me, let me borrow the lab to do experiments. With those two at home, I can't work there anymore." I laughed coldly in my heart. She must have realized those two amateur chickens at home were useless and turned her sights on me. I sighed. "I'll talk to my boss." Previously, he rented it out for 30,000 yuan a day. As an employee, I might get an employee price of 15,000 probably. I'll see if I can negotiate it down to 10,000. Sarah's voice rose several tones, angrily saying, "What? Are your book-learned minds so dark?" She was still cursing when I suddenly saw on camera that she was scratching below while looking for her health insurance card. She must have been unable to bear it anymore. I deliberately changed the subject, sighing deeply. "You have a bunch of troublesome things." "So do I. A few days ago, I went for a gynecological exam, and the doctor kept looking back and forth. Although they say doctors don't differentiate between genders, I still felt a little uncomfortable. Sigh, am I being too sensitive?" Sarah, as expected, stopped, hesitating to ask me what the doctor did. I deliberately exaggerated the details to tell her. I knew Sarah still had the mindset of a pampered wife. She thought that with just a little gesture, men worldwide would fall at her feet. Sarah nervously said, "Then wouldn't it be very dangerous for me to go to the hospital?" "Oh, come on, Lily. When can you finally come back? I don't plan on bringing them along for this opportunity to get rich, Sarah. I only thought of you. Come back quickly and do experiments with me. Your mother isn't cooperating at all. You're an excellent student. You must see the business opportunity in this, right?" I excitedly said. "Of course I know. Your family are business-minded people. Their minds must be sharp. My brother and mother truly have no vision. Sarah, you wait until I finish researching the market for stores and discover their secrets to making money, then I'll be right back." Sarah, hearing this, eagerly asked what the secret was. I nervously, softly told her that many stores have stable customer sources and income. A store must have many products of the same type. That way, customers entering the store will conveniently buy more. If there is only one unique product, it is very easy to lose money. On camera, Sarah's face showed a sudden realization. Less than 2 days later, I saw on camera Sarah holding something that looked like an adult diaper, forcing my brother to wear it. I watched, laughing heartily. My brother, Tom, wasn't a good person either. He once secretly fabricated stories to neighbors. "Lily's salary will all go to me to buy a house in the future." What kind of research institute could a person of Lily's caliber get into? She must be involved in something shady. I was ignored and targeted at home, all because he egged them on. Now that Sarah had turned her attention to him, I was truly overjoyed. I calmly immersed myself in my research institute project, quietly waiting for this family to dig their own graves. Not long after, my mother's tearful phone call came again. "Lily, I can't live in this house anymore. Come and take me away." According to my mother, after hearing my advice, Sarah had a sudden epiphany and began researching baby diapers, adult diapers, men's diapers, and so on. All day long, she forced my mother and brother to take turns trying samples. At first, my brother couldn't stand it and got furious, feeling he had lost his masculine dignity. The result was that Sarah made a phone call, and he immediately received a notice of suspension from work. His masculine dignity was thrown out the window. Sarah even declared at home that when her company went public, the whole family would be shareholders. She brainwashed my brother again and again. My mother, itching uncomfortably, begged my brother to take her to the hospital. My brother had completely sided with Sarah. He declared loudly, "Mom, haven't you suffered enough hardships already? We're so close to victory, how can you give up now? My wife said that when we make money, she'll take you to the best doctors, specialists. If you affect the progress of the experiment, I won't let you off easy." My mother told them she had developed lesions and was bleeding. Sarah's face was full of excitement. "You need blood to test the absorbency, right? Mom, quickly go put it on." Not only that, they confiscated all my mother's health insurance cards, saying they were afraid she would do something foolish and be tricked by others. My mother's distraught voice came through. "Lily, I also have pimples, what should I do now? And it's oozing pus." I quickly comforted her, recommending a private doctor who didn't require a health insurance card. She hurried off. I opened my phone and saw Sarah posting on her timeline, looking for a reputable processing factory, promising generous rewards if chosen. I thought for a moment, then switched to my secondary account and also posted a timeline, including photos celebrating the establishment of the Blue Orchid factory. Orders over 10,000 receive an immediate 3,000 discount. Buy more, get more. Almost immediately, my phone received a message from Sarah. I exaggerated the factory's reputation. Sarah was a bit wary, but not much. Searching for Blue Orchid Factory only showed fake advertising websites that my friends had helped create. Sarah was immediately swayed and generously placed a 500,000 yuan order. I held my phone, deep in thought. Sarah spent so much money. Where did this 500,000 yuan come from? Soon, I knew the answer. On camera, another group of workers was moving in and out. My mother's wails that shook heaven and earth came through. "Oh my God, I married a daughter-in-law and now the house has been sold. What sin have I committed?" Sarah stood with her hands on her hips, her expression firm. "My experiments a few days ago had results. After trying everything, foam is still the best. I've already placed the order, just wait, I'll change you all into a bigger house." My brother couldn't take it anymore either. Who could endure falling from heaven to hell? Not only did he lose his job, but now he didn't even have a place to live. My brother only thought of me when his life turned bad. His face was grim. "Lily, you've grown wings. Such a big thing happened to the family and you're playing ghost for me? Let me tell you, quickly transfer the money in your account over here. I won't hold it against you. If you dare to play tricks on me, I'll teach you a lesson." Sarah failed again. Didn't she say this time, if she made money, she could face her father with pride? "Brother, you should comfort Sarah. Something like this happened. She must be very sad." My brother sensed something was wrong and quickly asked. I then stammered out, "Sarah's father had a son in his old age and transferred all of Sarah's shares to his youngest son." My brother gnashed his teeth in anger. "Great, so she's penniless now and still dares to torment me like this? I'll teach her a lesson." I calmly hung up the phone. Originally, my brother and mother were bound by self-interest. Now, with no home, the cage that had held them captive was open. What would they do? I was very much looking forward to it. Originally, I didn't understand why Sarah, a rich young lady, would risk her life to do these things. Wouldn't living comfortably be better? It wasn't until I heard her phone call on camera that I understood the reason behind her madness. Very quickly, I once again encountered my brother, Sarah, and my mother, only this time they were on trending topics. The poster quickly attached a video. In the video, Sarah was initially lecturing my brother, scolding him for not choosing the milk tea she liked. She arrogantly demanded Tom buy her a new handbag as an apology. Tom didn't listen to her. Instead, he threw the milk tea at her, then slapped her 3 times. Amidst Sarah's questioning, my brother shamelessly exposed her true colors. "You're a wife discarded by your family. What princess act are you putting on?" At this moment, my mother had just finished buying groceries. Sarah wanted to go home, her eyes wide, and she jumped to grab Sarah's hair. "How dare you?" Still fighting. "Still daring to use my house to throw your weight around. My wife and I have been ordered around by you for so long, just wait and see how I pay you back." Finally, seeing the crowd grow, my brother forcibly dragged Sarah away by her hair. That evening, I received a tragically tearful voice message from Sarah. "Lily, your brother doesn't want me anymore." At this point, I was too lazy to act anymore. I didn't answer for half a day, pretended the signal was bad, and then hung up. I turned to continue my discussion with a prominent figure in the industry. Recently, controversies surrounding sanitary pads had arisen one after another. All women were confused, unsure which brands were safe. At that time, seeing the news, Sarah wasn't the only one with an idea. I actually did too, but she wanted to use it to profit, while I only wanted to find a sanitary pad that I could feel safe using myself. As my senior colleagues and I flew back near home to visit a factory, I overheard workers whispering, "Hey, do you know? There's a crazy woman selling homemade sanitary pads on the street." I passed by and took a look. They were so dirty, clearly homemade, even with fingerprints on them. Someone actually wanted to buy them, but I warned them it wasn't safe. I told them I work in a sanitary pad factory, that her stuff was substandard, and she even dared to hit me. Walked over curiously. "And then what?" The workers, seeing many leaders passing by, became even more enthusiastic. There was someone even more unethical than her. They bought everything from her, then turned around and sued her for fraud and embezzlement. Police sirens wailed, and they said if she didn't compensate hundreds of thousands of yuan, they would sue her. After hearing this, I felt a sense of calm. At least compared to my previous life, Sarah's retribution didn't harm others. After the factory tour, I invited my senior colleagues to dinner. Right outside the restaurant, I encountered Sarah and my brother. Sarah's face was covered in tears. "Tom, please, for old time's sake, I helped you find a job, pay this money for me. Can you really bear to let me go to jail?" My brother's face only showed a look of guilt. He kept urging her to leave, saying they would talk later. Sarah, rarely smart for once, immediately sensed something was amiss and looked around. Sure enough, a woman with a child was hiding behind a bush. Sarah scared the child, who cried out, "Daddy," and rushed into my brother's arms. I watched, stunned. So my brother could endure Sarah's domineering behavior for so long because he had another family outside. The child was already this big. Sarah, seeing this, completely went insane. She screamed, snatched a fruit knife from a nearby street vendor, and lunged. My brother pushed the child away but couldn't dodge in time, getting stabbed more than 10 times by Sarah. White blade went in, red blade came out. My brother collapsed to the ground. Passers-by screamed repeatedly. Sarah tried to run but was held back by enthusiastic citizens. Finally, the police took Sarah away, and the ambulance took my brother away. I smiled, leading my senior colleagues into the restaurant, feeling that a weight had lifted from my heart. That evening, I inevitably had a few drinks. I was sleeping soundly when a piercing phone ring woke me up. "Lily, I had a nightmare." I rubbed my eyes, still not fully awake. My mother continued herself. "I saw you surrounded by a bunch of people, and I saw your eyes staring at me, calling my name. I was just so scared. I'm sorry, Lily, I'm sorry." My mother's sobs came through the phone. I looked at the stars outside the window and smiled calmly. "It's okay, Mom. Haven't I come back to you?" My mother was stunned for a long time, not answering, then screamed and with a click hung up the phone. I continued to close my eyes. My mother didn't know that the so-called private doctor was just another unethical doctor. I was never soft-hearted. In the past, I had been soft-hearted again and again, but in the end, I was the only one left with nothing, losing my life. The next day, the police called. "Ms. Song, something has happened to your mother. Please come down." I cried heartbrokenly, staggering to the scene. On camera, my mother, after hearing my phone call, had missed a step and fallen down the stairs. By the time people found her, she had stopped breathing. The police looked at me cautiously and asked, "We checked, and her last call was to you. May I ask what you two talked about?" I was stunned for 2 seconds, then played the recording for them. Half an hour later, I left with eyes swollen like walnuts. The following days, I was busy arranging my mother's funeral. As for my brother, he never appeared. After all, how could a vegetable move? The funeral concluded, and I continuously met with my senior colleagues. After a long period of research, we officially launched a safe and reliable sanitary pad, researched and developed by the Medical Academy. The advertising slogan was, "The sanitary pad that all staff dare to use with peace of mind." As soon as it was launched, it received widespread acceptance. I took the lead in donating 30% of the profits to people in impoverished areas, accompanied by a truckload of sanitary pads. Simultaneously, as an individual, I sought out the workers who were implicated by Sarah in my previous life, personally paying out of my own pocket to give them sanitary pads. Their knowing smiles kept replaying in my mind. I believed that in my previous life, after my death, their fates were also not complete. I not only changed my own life, but also their destinies. Under the sunlight, a gentle breeze carried a cool air. I took a deep breath. The world has many hardships, but it is truly beautiful.